Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Air Check Your Life podcast. Now, for those of you who are hanging in there and you've been a part of Learn from People Who Lived It for the last 4.5 years, first up, let me say thanks. It was a great ride. Me and Dr. Frank and Dr. Dave, we interviewed 350 plus guests, and we just had the most unbelievable conversations. But as I moved forward in my speaking business, one of the things that became really clear to me was, yes, I love doing this Learn from People Who Loved It or Lived It concept, but what I really need to lean into is this simple framework that I'm bringing to stages. And as I'm bringing that to stages, let me bring somebody to my stage right now. Dr. Anna Marie Frank has been on Learn from People Who Lived It. Doc, you've been on, I think, a handful of times on the show. And now you have the privilege to be the very first guest on Air Check Your Life, this new platform. And so first up, what's up and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, let me just break this down really quick so that people have an understanding of where this is coming from. So when we were in the radio and television business, we would get off the air every single day. We would go back into a room. We would listen back to our show or watch back our show. And we would ask ourselves 3 questions. What did we get right? What was okay that we definitely need to tweak if we're going to do it again? And what did we do that cost us listeners or viewers that day? And it's my belief that this simple framework applies to every area of our lives. I think each and every one of us could stop and take stock and say, what's working for me in my relationships? What's okay that I probably need to tweak? And what are those relationships that I need to kick to the curb because they're not serving me any longer? And so my hope is that as we develop this together with you, me, Dave, Jill, Court, and all the other guests that we're going to have, is that each day we challenge our audience to take a look at their life in one of those 3 areas. And I know that for you today, it would be appropriate to ask a couple of those questions in terms of our health. And you're going to help us understand how our body speaks to us to help us answer those questions. And so, as I say, what are you getting right? What's okay in your life? And what are you doing that needs to be kicked to the curb? I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay. You ready?
Okay.
In terms of health right now, what are you getting right?
I think I'm getting right the fact that I'm not overloading my nervous system.
Okay.
I'm okay to do less. Less is more.
What's going on in your health that you could improve?
I think I could move more. Definitely, I get behind the desk. I do have a standing desk, but I could move more. I was actually listening to, I think it was a podcast, and they were talking about some research where if you just do 10 squats every 10 minutes, it makes a profound difference in your health. It's like you worked out for like 30 seconds or 30 minutes a day. So I think every hour on the hour, I need to tell my girls to come in here and say, Dr. Anna Marie, 10 squats, So yeah, I'm not counting, but
we got 3 more.
Okay. So yeah, everybody do 10 squats right now if you're able.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. All right. So you could move more. What's something about your health that is definitely not going the way you want it to, and you're actively probably thinking about changing it?
I don't think there's anything.
Great. Well, I mean, you work for a health clinic, so you probably should be pretty dialed in.
Yeah. So yeah,
wouldn't be good for business if Anna was like, well, I got about 14 things that I'm not getting right. Yeah. Today we're going to help our audience answer that question by, last week we were talking about how our tongue can tell us so many different things about our health right now.
That was such a great episode. So I encourage everyone to go back and listen to the episode in the privacy of your own home or in your car and stick your tongue out and go along with what we're sharing, because you'll be able to essentially figure out what's going on within you by looking at your own tongue.
Today, though, you want to move on to a different part of our body.
Yes. So a few parts of the body that it's really interesting stuff. And all of this is coming from Chinese medicine. ancient wisdom. And I definitely want to talk about our ears, our fingernails, our eyes, which is iridology, and face mapping. We'll see how much we get through today, but I'm happy to throw some things out there for people listening.
I never heard about the ears before.
Yes. So, okay, just one thing about the ears. If you are somebody who notices someone with like really pointy ears, like up here, so people that are watching the video, you can see how I'm pinching my ear. If their ears go to a point like this, I'm sorry, but you have to run the other way. They can be like very toxic people. And listen, I get there's an exception to every rule, but I will say, since I started using this information that I studied and learned over the last 8 years, like 99.9% of the time, the person in front of me that I'm working with, I am figuring out their personality, some different things from their past, and it is crazy accurate. Like, it's wild to me because I just started using this with my clients as I was learning it and studying it, just to like see like, okay, is this really a thing? And it is. For example, if you have a very long earlobe, so again, I'm showing you in the picture, like long earlobe, people with really long earlobes, those people have so much wisdom. They're like, I feel like they've lived like a million trillion lifetimes before this.
Do I have a pointy ear? I'm all concerned.
No, you don't. But you do have on your ear, it flaps over. It looks like it flaps over. And is there some ridgy edges?
Ridgy?
Yeah. Like if you go in and you feel right in here, like bumps, like if you go in your ear and you feel any bumps going,
yeah,
like
I feel a few bumps.
Okay. So depending on where you feel those bumps, those represent different ages, and those can be trauma, stress at that age. If your ear folds over, this is a sign that you are probably overprotected, overly like can't go out, can't do things like as a child. If your ear right up here is very, very thin, you probably felt mostly unsupported growing up. So these are just some little markings because our face and our bodies change based on the stress we're under, based on the environment we're under. And in Chinese medicine, they have mapped the face and they have studied this, and it is pretty cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we fix that? Like, what if somebody is looking at me or watching this and they're like, oh shit, I've got pointy ears. I'm a nice person. How do I fix that?
You're probably not. You're probably a little psycho and you blame everybody else for everything. And you could be a narcissist.
Whoa. So it's probably not very common to have pointy ears.
No, that one's like, those are, those people with the pointy ears. It's a tendency towards extreme, like volatile behavior.
Wow.
Like seriously. So yeah. Okay. And then like, for example, if someone has ears that stick out, like, like wide ears like that stick out, these people are great listeners, like for real, great listeners. Wide, like ears that are tilted back. So like my ears go up and down, but ears that tilt back, those people are more likely to, like they're comfortable taking more risks in their life. So they may be more risk takers. So
fascinating.
I know, it's really, really fun. So yeah, that's the ears. But if we move on to like the face. So for example, the face mapping is a really cool thing. If you have issues with digestion, you probably have a lot of deep lines in the forehead.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah. And we've talked about with your tongue, we talked about the different things that on the other episode that you've had challenges with. And so yeah, so deep lines on the forehead. The forehead really represents the digestive system. Underneath the eyes, I'm going to show you guys this map that I have right here. This is like called What the Face Map. This is pretty cool. So under the eyes, this is your kidneys. So if your eyes are pretty puffy underneath, and really dark, you really need to work on the kidney support, also kidney meridian. And then if we go here, this is spleen. If you have deep lines in your cheeks, this is usually a sign of this is your lungs, but this is also grief. So as we see different markings in those organ systems, you can tend to have more issues with those organ systems. Above the lip, I can usually tell if somebody is very fertile. I can also tell, have they lost a child or had a significant loss in their life? So I always am very careful when I look at my clients. If I see above their lip, I need to be very mindful that I don't just say, oh, do you have any children?
Right.
Do
I appear very fertile?
So yeah, you have the marking for that for sure.
Really?
Yeah. And then below, right down here. Oh yes, I'm very. I always say I had sex 3 times in my life. I got pregnant twice. So yeah, yeah. And then the chin area right down here. This is all like hormones, reproductive health, things like that. So discoloration, lines in these areas, brown spots. I mean, these are areas that you probably have more issues in those organ systems going on.
And so let me ask you a question. Hold on, because this is really, really fascinating stuff. So like if I have some of these things and let's say I got the puffy eyes, and then I go to work on the kidneys and I support the kidneys either through supplements or acupuncture or lifestyle or diet, does the puffiness generally disappear?
Oh yeah, it'll start to go down.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Huh. The other thing is like the puffiness under the eyes emotionally can feel like things are stagnant in your life as well. And then if you have the opposite, if you have puffiness above your eyes, right up here, often people that have puffiness above their eyes are really good investors. So whoever's playing with your money or dealing with your money, you want to see like, do they have like puffiness above their eyes? So there's 2 things that I look at when I'm evaluating a client. Not only am I looking at the personality tendencies or traits, I'm also looking at the organ systems and how things how are they being expressed? So I'm actually playing on 2 different fields here. So personality tendencies, which will influence how you show up in life, what you're eating. Are you an extreme person? Are you taking risk? And then, okay, what is the body? How have you been treating your body? Are these markings coming up? So yeah, this is like so much fun for me to do. Like people are like, are you psychic? I'm like, no, your face is telling me all the things. Although I do have pretty good instincts and ability.
Yeah, you're very intuitive.
I'm very intuitive. So the combination of what I've learned through Chinese medicine and my own natural gifts of intuition, and then the knowledge of the body, like all of this is like, I always call it my symphony, because some people are always like, well, how do you know? Like, how did you know that? And it's like, okay, well, it's usually not just one thing. But yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. The other thing, like if we talk about, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, so we've done ears, we've done the face. Like we'll probably have time for one more.
All right, let's do the eyes.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the eyes in the not iridology. We could talk about that in another episode. That's like the iris itself and what your iris is actually tendencies towards dis-ease in the body that you could have based on if you have blue eye, biliary iris, brown iris. So we'll talk about that another time. But I'm just talking facial features today. So let's just talk about the facial features. So for example, I'll give you like the most extreme person that you want to stay away from. How about that? Because that's just
good. Here we go.
Okay. So if you have somebody like right here where your eye comes in, if this point, you know where you get your eye boogers?
Yeah.
Okay. If it is like a hook up or a hook down, like it's a hook, it's not straight, and they have pointy ears, they're probably going to kill you. Like you better run for your life. And people with that hooked, they will be very vicious with the way they communicate. Yeah. So
Interesting. And this is all like Chinese medicine. For years, people have been noticing this and saying it about people.
Yes.
Crazy.
People that have like the very pointed tear duct, they're usually very sharp with their tongue. Like they'll communicate.
Can you see me?
Zooming in. You're pretty normal. You're not extreme. Either way. Those look good. Okay. However, if you open your eyes again. Oh no, you don't have that. Okay. So when you open your eyes, if like, see how the whites underneath your eyes, they're almost showing, but the whites underneath your eyes, if they're showing, like if you're just looking at someone and not trying to like make your eyeballs pop out of your head, but you're just looking at someone and you can see the whites under their eyes, that person has a lot of stress going on. If you see the whites above the eyes, that is like a lot of chronic stress. It's almost like their eyes are like wide open. Those people tend to have a nervous system that is like firing like crazy. If you have
people like that,
yeah, they're probably super stressed. If you have like a deep set eyes, like your eyes sit back deep in the head, usually you're more of a private person. If your eyes are kind of more wide, outset, like you're pretty open person, like you're okay to talk about whatever.
As we wind down this, I'm curious, like, how will this help us in our life? Like, I mean, how do you feel? How do you find this to be useful?
Okay, I'll share with you the one thing that was an aha moment. So the forehead also says a lot. So if you look at my forehead, see how I have like this brow bone that's very profound?
Okay.
It goes down and then it comes out like that, right? Where my brow bone is.
Yeah.
See that? People that have a brow bone like that, we're great leaders. We like to be in charge. We need to have control. Well, my husband has the same feature. So I got to learn in my marriage that being right and having control all the time is not a great thing, because he also has a tendency towards needing that as well. So based on the features of your face, like I'll have couples that come in all the time or do couple remote sessions, and I'll let them know like, hey, your husband or your wife, because often it's rare that you have two people that have that same feature. I was just lucky, I guess, with my husband. But I let him know like, hey, it's important to let him feel like he's in charge. Or to him, hey, it's important to let her feel like she has this control, right? So different tendencies of how your facial features show up in relationships, it's really important that when we know that, we can actually communicate better. And I also use this a lot, like when I hire people.
I'll bet.
Yeah, like I can totally like tell if someone is I mean, my gut already knows, but if I have like one red flag that comes up, like I'll like start to look at their features, and it's really hard. Like when I go out to eat with one of my friends, she's always like, hey, what do you see of the waiter? And like, it's like kind of funny, but I have to like turn it off, because otherwise I'm seeing people's features or being like, oh, hey, like you really need to work on your lung health, or hey, like your digestive system, you should probably get some digestive enzymes, or like I can totally like see it in people. So it's a fun thing to do, but it's very helpful, because again, it goes back to our body is always speaking to us. It's just whether we understand how to decode what it's trying to tell us, because for millennia, we've always been able to feel the pulse, see what the body needs, look at the body, just get quiet and listen to the body. And we don't do that anymore. So that's essentially what I get to do with clients. And yeah, it's fun. And then when I'm doing my executive coaching with clients, this is really great information for me to know, because I can be like, hey, that tendency showing up again. And it's not like it's good or bad, but it's like, if we can step back from, the way we wound up being and be open to other perspectives and other ways, like it can just help expand our thinking.
Fascinating conversation today, Doc. That was really, really entertaining. And I know it's going to be so cool because as soon as people are done listening to this podcast, they're going to be breaking out the selfie stick, selfie cam on their phone and taking a picture and then like zooming in on their eyes to see if they're hooked. They're going to be looking at their ears. They're going to be looking at their forehead, underneath their nose. Like there's just going to be so many interesting people that, or people that are interested rather in figuring this out. And then I will say, if you're interested in working with Dr. Anna Marie Frank, I mean, I would imagine that there's some of this stuff you could do virtually.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of stuff virtually. I actually have clients, they'll send me specific photos before we meet for our session, and I go over them before the session.
Really?
Yeah. So
all right. I'll put it underneath there right now. You can visit Dr. Anna Marie Frank at Happy Whole You. That's where you can go to get connected to her. And I can't wait till tomorrow because I'm gonna be looking at this woman right here, Courtney McDermott. I'm gonna be checking out her facial features and making sure there's no pointy ears.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
You can tell with Courtney the way the sides have by where, like when she smiles.
Yeah.
She has a lot of joy, like how her lines show up on her face. She has a lot of joy. I'll point that out because that's a wonderful thing to have.
Amazing. Well, thanks for dropping by. Every Monday, we're lucky enough to have Dr. Anna Marie Frank on so that we can learn more about what the body's trying to tell us, because as she mentioned, it's always talking to us. And don't be like me. Don't learn the hard way. You don't have to wait until the fit hits the shan before you wake up and look at the body and just pay attention to it. And so thanks again for your time. Thanks everybody for checking out Air Check Your Life. This was, I guess, podcast number 1 in this, but really we're just going to keep the series going. I just renamed everything so people didn't have to refollow a new show or whatever. I made it easy. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thanks again, Doc. We'll see you next Monday.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, guys.